Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com.
What is the difference between the various styles and types of scripts that you can find used in Stam today and that are offered for sale on the market for consumers? You visit a sefer or you go to a safra store and you ask them, I would like to buy a mezuzah, I would like to buy tefillin, and the first question they ask you, which Kesav do you want? Kesav Beis Yosef or Kesav Ashkenazi, Kesav Arizal, Kesav Vallish, Kesav Chabad, Kesav Meyuchis. What is the difference between all the different styles of script and typesets that we find today? Are there any real halachic differences between them? Are they all kosher? How did they come about? So very interestingly, we can go through the Talmud, which is meant to be the book that details all the Jewish laws, and we find absolutely no discussion of how to write the script of the letters by Stam, Sefer Torah, Mezuzahs, and Tefillin according to halacha. But we do find in Masechah Shabbos, Daf Kuf Gimel, is some agadata on the various letters. And likewise in different midrashim we find midrashic explanations of some letters. But an actual detailed list of the letters and how they are to be written is completely missing from the Talmud. Furthermore, in the Rambam's Magnum Opus, Mishnah Torah, where he goes through all the halachis of the Torah, he mentions nothing about how to write the letters. And the reason for this is as follows. The general appearance of the letters of the Hebrew alphabet are known to all. And so long as the scribe writes the letters in the Sefer Torah, Mezuzah, and Tefillin in a way that it looks like it's identified clearly as the letter, then it's kosher. And the various typefaces and fonts and styles that we know of are not invalidating factors in how to write Stam. Meaning that just like in the English language, lahavdil, a word processor document, you can write the same sentence in English with 1,000 and more different typesets, Times New Roman, Calibri, and the like. So too in the Hebrew alphabet, it's possible to write the same letters in different fonts in different ways. And those aspects are not invalidating, and therefore the Rambam and the Talmud do not go into detail of how they should be written. Indeed, the Rosh in his Shilos and Shuvas writes this quite explicitly, stating that the fonts of the letters differ from country to country, and that they are all valid so long as they conform to the basic halachic requirements of the components of the letters, that they retain their general identifiable shape and form. And so records the Alter Rebbe in the Shulchanaruch in chapter 36, halacha 1, that if one swerved and wrote the script in a form that's different than the tradition of the script, then nonetheless it remains kosher so long as it retains the correct letter form. Nonetheless, the Alter Rebbe there goes on and says that initially one must write the script in accordance to the tradition brought in the Talmud, Midrashim, and in the Rishonim. Now, who is he referring to? The Alter Rebbe here is referring to the Sefer of Rabbi Yehuda HaChassid, who was one of the first Rishonim to write details of the scribal letters and how they should be written, and later on compiled in the famous work Alpha Besa, also known as the Sefer Baruch She'amar, written in the 1400s by Rabbi Yom Tov Milhosen, and quoted in detail in the Beis Yosef chapter 36, in which he goes through every single letter of the Hebrew alphabet and describes how it is to be written. In fact, he actually writes 4 different versions of the letters, recording all the traditions from his predecessors. Later on, the Alter Rebbe in the Shulchan Aruch chapter 36 also compiled a work detailing every single letter and including the rulings of the Arizal. And so on and so forth. After the times of the Alter Rebbe, other authors have taken the task of describing each letter of the Hebrew alphabet and exactly how it is to be written. However, the common denominator of everything that we discussed is that from the letter of the law, so long as the letter retains its identity, basic requirements as learned from the Talmud and Rishonim, the nuances of the script do not invalidate it, even if it swerves from tradition. And it is indeed this halacha which created the various different types of traditions of how to write the script and its style. Meaning that since halacha doesn't dictate a specific script, therefore it became possible in different countries to develop different typesets. And this is all an introduction and preface to understand the various scripts available on the market today. And practically today in the market we have 4 different typesets, 4 different scripts that are available. Beis Yosef, Kesav Vallish, Kesav Arizal, and Kesav Admar Azaken, or Kesav Meyuchis, as it's alternatively known as. and we're going to go through each one. Kesav Beis Yosef is the Kesav that the Beis Yosef records in his work on the Torah, quoting from the Sefer Baruch She'amar that we mentioned earlier. And this was the most original and most prolific Kesav used in previous times. When the Beis Yosef recorded this, he writes, "No, I have found a kuntrus of a later Achron, who speaks in the forms of the letters, and it has found favor in my eyes, and therefore I felt that it's befitting to record it here." So we can arguably state the most prolific and original Kesav is the Kesav Beis Yosef. Now, who writes with Kesav Beis Yosef? So this is a Kesav used by Lithuanian Jewry, by Ashkenazi Jewry, and is therefore also alternatively referred to as Kesav Ashkenazi. Ironically, it is not used by Sephardim. Sephardim rather have a tradition to use what's called Kesav Vallish. This font is also known as Kesav Sephardi, being that it's used today only by Sephardim, and is not recorded in the Rishonim, and there is no clear tradition about each component of the letter, although it is brought in the Sefer of the Yavitz in Morok Tzia, chapter 36, and in the Chidah and the David Emes. A third type of script is known as Kesav Arizal. Now, technically, there's really no difference between the style of Kesav Arizal and Kesav Beis Yosef, with exception to a few letters in which the Arizal held of a few nuances based on Kabbalah. And this is mainly the Aleph, the Vav, the Ayin, the Tzadik, and the Shin. Now, though, as we said, the Arizal doesn't change the entire script or style, nonetheless, today's Kesav Arizal follows a certain font and style that differs from Kesav Beis Yosef, even in the letters that were not dictated by the Arizal to have a change. And as we've already stated, the style of the script was not given to Moses on Sinai, is not halachically required, and different countries wrote in different ways. So while the Kesav Arizal today contains a component of the changes that the Arizal requested in certain letters, it also creates a different style of writing than that of Kesav Beis Yosef, which was not ordinated by the Arizal. In Me'eretz Hashem, in future lessons, we will discuss the fourth Kesav that we mentioned, which is Kesav Admar Azaken, or Kesav HaMeyuchas, Kesav Alter Rebbe, Kesav Chabad, as well as can one be Yotze with the other Kesavim of other people's minhagim, such as can an Ashkenazi wear Kesav Arizal, can a Lubavitcher wear Kesav Vallish, can a Sephardi wear Kesav Beis Yosef, etc. Me'eretz Hashem, we will discuss this in future lessons.
Thank you for listening to Shulchanaruchharav.com. Our free services of making Torah knowledge available to the public depends on donors like you. Please help us continue our work through making even a small contribution at Shulchanaruchharav.com under the Daily Halacha Dedication section or in the subscription page. Also, check out our online courses and many Sefarim available for purchase that will both enhance your Torah knowledge and help support our work.